Today, I think I would just chat to you about the benefits of actually having somebody in your life which can coach you and give you some direction. One of the hardest things we have with pre recorded sessions, which can be a bit of a difficult problem for some people, unless the person intrinsically knows you and knows exactly what you need, it's very difficult for them to really tailor make the actual session to really suit your individual needs for your personal development, for your direction you need to go in, and also understanding how you perceive the world around you. There's a lot of information out there on the internet about perceptual values and how these things work, and it's very difficult to understand this. And if we could just imagine that, just say, for instance, that every one of your emotions that you feel, from anger, happiness, sadness, and these emotions that you feel change the way you see the world through color. So say if you think of a color you feel happy, let me just make a happy color. Say your happiest color could be yellow. Yeah, so you think of the sunshine in a beautiful yellow color. It could be any color that you choose. I'm not telling you to pick yellow, I'm just saying a color, for instance. And say a really sad color could be a really dark blue or a gray or a black. And say a color you attribute with love is a classic one is red, isn't it? Or like a pinky hearty tone. So if you really think about it, if you were in love and every time you seen a person you loved, all of your vision would have a red tone, and all you would do because of that red tone, it would filter out everything else except for everything else in the world that's feeling love at that moment. So you'd go blind to all of anger, all of bad stuff, happiness, unhappiness, and sadness. And we don't do that to that extreme when we're going through an emotional filter, but it can be almost that extreme. So if you imagine now you're going through this emotional filter, and through going through that emotional filter, what you're going to be doing is feeling predominantly that feeling. By feeling predominantly that feeling, what are you going to get from that? Well, by predominantly feeling that feeling, what you're going to initially get is this: you're going to choose the easiest option. So if you're really happy, you go to a happy mood, you're having a great time, it's your birthday, for instance, and you're out in a club and there's loads of other people and somebody else is having their birthday party and they bump into you, it's my birthday as well, oh, it's your birthday, oh, wicked, have a drink with me and my friends. And next minute you've got two birthday parties intermingling and you're having the best night ever and it was your best night, you're enjoying it. And then somebody comes along that's really miserable, and what do you tend to do? You look at that miserable person, oh, what's wrong with them? Like, it's my birthday, come and have a drink with us. And that person, no matter what you do, oh, leave me alone, and they just want to be miserable. And you think, oh, what a miserable, whatever. So this flip the coin now. You're that person that isn't very happy. You've just been dumped by your girlfriend. You're walking past this bar, all these people look happy. You just want to walk in and have a beer. Maybe more than one or two beers because you want to drown your sorrows, which is not going to make you feel any better. And as you walk in the bar, there's a big group of people having a birthday party, and that group of person and this really happy person with a birthday thing, and you think, oh, I'm not going to go over there, I'm just going to spoil their birthdays, I just want to be left alone, please don't talk to me. And then that person who's having a birthday runs over and says, come and join my birthday party, come on, we'll brighten you up. And you're there going, no, leave me alone, right? See, there's a flip side to both coins. You're having a birthday party and your partner dumps you and you're crying your eyes out, it's your birthday, and oh, this is the worst birthday ever, they spoilt it on purpose. Yeah, you can be thinking that. Or the other thing you can be thinking as well, they've just dumped you, they're not going to spoil my birthday. This is the one thing they're not going to do, they're not going to ruin my birthday. And you go out, you have a really good night, you make sure you do, because you know that, you could be upset, and you know what the hell, you're single now, it's your birthday, and you might just actually pull somebody else. So what the hell, let's just go out and have a great night. See, it's the choices we make that can change things. Like, so the other aspect is the guy that walks into the bar He's feeling miserable, being dumped by his girlfriend. This really beautiful looking girl who's having a birthday walks over to him. He's feeling miserable. She says, come and join us in the party. And he goes, you know what? What the hell? Why am I feeling, what the hell? Why am I feeling so upset? Why don't I just go and join these guys for the birthday? So then he goes over, he joins them for the birthday, has one of the best nights ever, ends up meeting this amazing girl, which was a part of this massive group, and realised that his ex-partner was a real horror and she was being horrible to him, and that they weren't compatible and they weren't meant to be together, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him that she dumped him. But at the time, when it happened, it was the worst thing that could ever happen. But just by taking that opportunity to just maybe take down his barrier and think, what the hell, let's just do this. Because we do have a choice, we have a choice no matter how tough life gets to us. We have a choice of how we react to stuff. So this is how we use an emotional filter. So you can either be stubborn and go, this is the way I'm meant to feel. I'm meant to feel depressed because I've invested in depression, or I'm meant to feel unhappy because I'm meant to feel unhappy, or I'm meant to be happy because that's what I want to be. Now, see, the definition of a sociopath is somebody that's happy even when they should be valuing something, or somebody that's thinking about how they should react, or in being a little bit more aware of the people that are around them, in front of them, and being aware of how those people are reacting. So a sociopath person is blissfully unaware of what people are doing around them, and really they're only invested in their own emotional state, and they're not interested in what anybody else is going on around them. They're very self-absorbed, and that can also be a really difficult situation for the person which is a sociopath, which our society tends to be getting more and more filled full of sociopaths. This is what this whole system is based upon: is you've upset me, no, you've become upset. There's a difference. If a person, even if a person does intentionally go out to upset you and do something bad to you, like I said before, you do have a choice. But if someone has not intentionally said something or done something to upset you and you've become upset, then that's your responsibility. You need to grow up. You need to stop blaming everybody else for your unstable emotional states, and you need to reach out to somebody like myself, or a life coach, or look for answers online and find out why you're reacting this way. Really, is the way you're acting being beneficial to you so far in your life? And is it getting you somewhere? Think how crazy life would be if none of us were allowed to upset anybody. None of us were allowed to say anything which was, mildly offensive. And we all went round totally frustrated because the moment we might say one wrong thing, the whole world might erupt into this massive name-calling, slandering, hang me round the neck because I happened to call somebody a woman. And she said, that's gender specific, or, you know what I mean? But you are a woman, you know what I mean? No, I choose not to be known as a woman. I want to be known as a turtle. What the hell is the world coming to, like? So, and I think we need specific barriers and names and ways of describing each other, because if we don't have any way of describing each other, a whole society would slip into insanity. So, just because you find the way that people describe, like gingerbread men, I find that offensive, call it a gingerbread person. Well, it doesn't have breasts, and it looks like a man, so I'm going to call it a gingerbread man. And I'm sorry, if you don't like it, get over yourself and stop being such a child. The whole world is full of people looking for something to be upset at, and really it's themselves that they're upset at themselves. There's people which are self-angry, self-defeating, self-destructive individuals, and we listen to them and think that they have the answers. We need more people out there, like there's a guy called Jordan Eccleston, and he's amazing. He stands up and says some amazing facts. And he talks about all of this, how people's emotional filters, basically, doesn't directly talk about it, but he's attacking people in an intelligent way, which attack him in a non-intelligent way, because he wants to have open debates. And he said maybe he doesn't know all the answers, but he's willing to listen. This is the biggest fundamental problem we have. If we can't sit along the table around each other and worry about what we're doing and what we're saying without worrying about upsetting somebody. And when we upset somebody, everybody said, you've upset her. No, she became upset. It's a big fundamental difference. If I was calling her very detrimental names and being horrifically abusive towards someone, yes, I've upset that individual because my aim was to upset that person. That person still has a choice, but really I've not given them much of one if I'm specifically attacking that person, and I deserve to have that. But if I said something that she's found offensive and nobody else did around the table, then that person needs to take a look at themselves and think maybe you're the one with a problem here and you need to deal with it because nobody else seemed to think it was an issue till you made it one. If we keep making everything an issue, there's far much more important things in the world which we need to be dealing with, which, you know, to me, a real abuse is somebody being raped or somebody being beaten up or somebody going through child abuse. That to me, that is true abuse. But using a few words which offend somebody isn't. So this is down to, again, a really strong, fundamental emotional filter where they're filtering out everything except for their agenda. And this is where the sickness comes from in our society today. This is what we've got to be really careful of. Because if we tend to the sickness, we make more insanity. And if the world becomes any more insane than it is, we've got problems because we're already in a bit of a pickle and a mess. So really understanding our perceptional values and starting to try and teach other people that just because we think it's true, it doesn't make it true. The only time we can really understand if something's true in front of us, if we discuss it and we've got some also open people and we come to an idea, did I hear you correctly? Did you mean this? And if you ask the person these questions, then you're giving the person an opportunity to explain themselves. And if they did mean then you have a choice to also have a debate with them and try and get them to change their mind. Because if you've got a decent amount of intelligence, you might be willing to have a debate with somebody which is has slightly racist, slightly sexist views on a subject and educate them and change their perceptional values by being open and discussing with them. By screaming at them and name calling and shouting at them and shaming them, it's just going to make them hate you even more, and it's going to make them maybe have an even stronger view rather than less of a view of what they said. The whole, screaming and shouting and stamping is what children do when they want to get sweets in a sweet shop. When they're not getting their own way, they have a tantrum. It's a childish behavior and it's not adult-like at all. What we need to be looking at is the fundamentals of what really do we want from this situation, and do we want to benefit humanity and want us to move on, or do we want ourselves to get stuck in this quagmire of crap that we're in? So perceptional values are incredibly important. They give us the structure of what we've been living our lives as so far, and it's how we discover what we are. It's when we see a comedian. Some people love one comedian more than they do another one, and it doesn't mean that the other comedian is better than the other one. Just your friend has got a different perceptional value of what they think is funny. It doesn't make your comedian better or worse. It just means that's your comedian. Don't, because you like a certain comedian, can't believe you don't like them, but it's their choice. What is it you don't like about them? Ask them an intelligent question. Oh, really? Why do you think that? Okay, and then you get to understand something, how that person perceives the world a little bit. Ask intelligent questions and you'll get an intelligent answer. I think that's where we go wrong in life. And I think it's so easy to assume that we know the answer rather than looking a little bit deeper and finding the answer. I don't think anybody fundamentally goes out in the morning and gets up and says, I'm going to go out and upset every person I come into contact and be an absolute, sorry for my language, dickhead. And it's such a bad word, but there might be somebody out there that'll find that offensive. And go out and attack everybody and drive like an absolute idiot. No, what actually happened? Most of them, they got up in the morning, they had a big disagreement with their partner, they might be financially going through a really tough time, and one of their kids has been an absolute nightmare, and they drive into work that day carrying all of that stuff with them, and then somebody is also having a bad day and they might happen to bump into each other on the way to work, and the two of them end up having a massive screaming match at each other, but they're not really screaming at the other person. They're just letting off steam. They're letting all the stuff out of their system. A very interesting thing for you. Anger is a defense mechanism to stop people from seeing that you're really suffering. See, most people which are really angry are suffering. They're angry because they're scared. See, an angry person isn't strong, they're weak. An angry person is suffering in some way. A strong person has no need to be angry, they can be assertive. There's a difference between anger and assertive. To be assertive means you're trying to get your viewpoint across in an intelligent manner. To be angry means that you're worried. You know when you've got to take something back to a shop and you maybe think that the shop is going to be difficult about it. You build yourself up, you build yourself up, you build yourself up, and you walk in the shop, you walk in with a really bad attitude problem, and then the shop assistant says, oh, yes, no problem, sir, I'll do that for you. And you're like, I built all of that anger and crap up for no reason. But if they would have gone in and say, no, we can't help you, then you blow off and you get angry. Why do you get angry? Because you're panicking. You want to be valued. You don't want somebody to take advantage of you. And because you're stressed and you're panicking, are you in a strong intellectual dominant state there where you can actually assert yourself and say, no, I'm not going to leave the shop. I need to speak to the manager. I need to know what my rights are with this because I bought this and this is a faulty good. And if you're strong and assertive and kind, you'll most probably get better answers than if you start screaming your head off and might likely get arrested because you're being abusive to the staff. And everybody in the shop might think, look at that maniac over there, rather than sympathizing with you because you've overreacted. And this is a fundamental problem with society, is if we learn to just trust in ourselves and walk into these environments, we get much better results. How do you want to be valued in your life? How do you want your people in your life to look at you? Do you want them to look at you with pride and respect, or do you want them to look at you with what the hell are you doing type of look? This is a choice you have. So I hope you've enjoyed this chat, and just a bit of food for thought. Just have a little think about what you want to do with your lives and why you are doing it, and try and take a back seat and think, am I seeing what's in front of me, or am I using a really strong emotion to filter this experience? And then take a step back and just think, what if I wasn't feeling this? Would I be looking at the situation the same way? That's quite scary the first time you start thinking like that, because you start to go, oh my God, maybe I've been doing this all of my life. Cool. Anyway, this is a broadcast just before Christmas. So happy Christmas, everybody. Hopefully I'll get a chance to post something else up on my Instagram and some other stuff, which I will do, and on my Facebook channel. But thank you so much for an amazing year. I've actually loved doing this year. I've still got another week till the new year comes in. But thank you for looking in. The greatest gift is your presence and you actually looking at my video. Thank you. Bye-bye.